Hello, I'm Bishop William Medley of the Diocese of Owensboro, and I welcome you to another edition of Across the Diocese. Today, we're on location, a new concept for us. We're in Grayson County at the little town of St. Paul Church and St. Paul School. And I welcome joining me today Kim Smith, who is the principal of St. Paul School, and Father Steve Holman, who is the pastor of St. Paul Church. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the Catholic Church here, and most especially the story of St. Paul School. So, Kim, how long have you been at St. Paul, and what's your background?
I began at St. Paul with the start of this school year, after teaching for 14 years in the public schools here in Grayson County. And I actually was a former student here at St. Paul. I went here for grades 4 through 8. So.
Very good. Father Steve, how long have you been here at St. Paul?
This is my 5th year at St. Paul, and I've been with the school and with the church, and in various different roles in the school and all that time, and it's just been great to be here.
Yes, there were a couple years you were the principal, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, for 3 years actually.
Most pastors would scratch their head and say, how did he do that?
And I did that too as well, yeah, it was a difficult job in that situation. It was a blessing to be, but we definitely hit a point where we needed a dedicated principal position, and we're blessed to have Kim in that position.
And your arrival here, the reason you were principal is that St. Paul School had been in a decline for many, many years. So you might tell us a little bit about that history and then bring us up to date of how we came to need a principal.
Sure, it's got a fascinating history, it really does. It's been around for 105 years now. And at one time it had a high school with it. At one time it had a couple hundred students in the school. And in 1970 the high school was closed, but it still was a very good and successful grade school. Over the years and different factors it declined and declined some more, and for a time of about 6 years, there was kind of hit and miss each year. Was it going to stay open? Was it not? Came very close to closing down. It was down to 17 students at one point. 5 years ago, it was down to 17 students. And we just decided we're going to put some effort into it. We're going to either make or break this school. And the community has come together. We've been very blessed that the teachers have put a lot of effort into it. We've had new families come in. We've had a lot of support from everything from the Knights of Columbus to other organizations. And we have gradually grown now to 57 students at present. And each year it's grown a little bit more.
I have a story about my first time to visit St. Paul back in 2010, shortly after I became bishop. I was having Mass with the children, and the enrollment that year was probably 20, 22, small. And so as I began Mass, I said, now I like to know who everybody is. So everybody in the 8th grade stand up. And so they did. And I said, there were 3 or 4 kids. Everybody in the 7th grade stand up. And they did. And 6th grade. And then I said, 5th grade. And I said, where are the 5th graders? And they said, he's absent.
Yeah, I heard that story actually, yeah.
Only one 5th grader that year.
Mm-hmm.
How have you kind of revived the school and grown the enrollment?
I think one thing is just adding different activities, extra activities for the students. Our kids can participate in cross-country, archery. We began that last year, in orchestra. I think those are some things that just kind of help keep kids interested in school and draw some folks in. And then I just think there's been a lot of dedication on the part of the parents who were already here, reaching out to other members of the community and helping them see what a positive place St. Paul School can be.
And part of it has been also reaching out to the other parishes in the county. For a while there, it kind of had been, for the most part, St. Paul parish kids. And kind of reaching out with relationships with other parishes in the county. And those other parishes have come to be a lot more supportive. And we've gotten more kids from those other parishes as well. So right now, our enrollment is pretty much more or less equal the different parishes in the county.
Well, what do you see the future of St. Paul School is?
I hope to see us continue to grow in our enrollment, in our faith. This year we've really devoted our service projects to digging into learning about the saints. We've picked a saint for each month, and then we're kind of tailoring our service projects around things that would have been inspired by that saint. So I hope to continue to see us grow in our Catholic identity and in our enrollment, and just reaching out and letting the community see that there are a lot of really great things happening here.
You know, talk about future years. What do you see for the future? And we've added different things every year, different programs. You know, a different whether it's sports or orchestra or academic team. We've got a new parish hall that we're building, which the school itself will use probably about the beginning of next school year, and it'll have a gym in it for the first time in our 105-year history. We'll actually have a gym in the school, as well as we'll use the cafeteria there as well. And it's a well-needed project. Our old school building that they use right now was built in 1946, and so it's ready to be replaced, and we're really excited. The community has come together a lot in helping to build this building. It's had a lot of help from individuals within the parish and the school. So that's a real joy for us to have that. We look forward to that. You know, this building itself here is starting to burst at the seams a little bit. We had plenty, when I first got here, we had plenty of storage space. Now that storage space has been turned into classrooms. And so there's not, you know, Kim Smith's office here is basically the boiler room, because that's the only room we had left to give to her.
Well, thank you all for sharing the story,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for the good work, and gives me an opportunity to say thank you to all those people who believed in St. Paul School when, as you said, year by year, the question was, are enough children going to show up that make this worthwhile? And I think the attitude here was, if one child shows up, it's worthwhile, because we've got a mission to do.